Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be working CXC past paper questions and fractions. Let's go guys. The first question, we have 3 and 3 over 8 divided by, in bracket, 5 over 12 plus 1 over 3. First we are going to convert all the fractions to, all the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that. So the first one is 3 times 8, that's 24, and 24 plus 3, that is 27. So that is 27 over 8 divided by, then in parentheses we have 5 over 12 plus a third. So we're going to follow BOMDAS or PEMDAS, which simply means that we're supposed to work what's in bracket first. So in bracket we are adding, hence we need to find the lowest common multiple of the denominator. In this case it would be 12. Then we'll say 12 into 12, that goes one time. That's 5 times 1, that will give us 5. Then 3 into 12 goes 4 times, then we multiply the 1 times 4, and 1 times 4, that will definitely give us 4. And then we can write back our first fraction, which is 27 over 8 divided by 5 plus 4 over 12. We can simplify this as 27 over 8 divided by 9 over 12. Now the problem is just a division problem. Remember now, when we're dividing, we write back the first fraction as is, so that's 27 over 8. Then we change our division to multiplication. Then we reciprocate our second fraction. Hence we'll have 12 over 9. Let's simplify guys. We can simplify diagonally. We can divide by 9, so 9 into itself goes 1, and 9 into 27 goes 3. And for the next diagonal we can divide by 4, because 4 into 8 goes 2 times, and 4 into 12 goes 3 times. What are we left with? We are left with 3 times 3 in the numerator, which is 9, and then 2 times 1, which is 2 in the denominator. So the answer to this question is 9 over 2, or can also be expressed as a mixed number as 4 and a half. Alright, cool. So good going guys. Let's move on to another question. In this question we have two parentheses, so we can work the parentheses independently, and then at the end we can add them. So let's do that. So all the mixed numbers, we're going to convert those to improper first and then work the question. So for the first bracket, it's 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 3, that will give us 7, so it's 7 over 4 minus 1 over 8. Those two will go into parentheses and plus. Then for the second parentheses, it's a division problem. Since it's in the parentheses and we can work it independently, we can convert it to a multiplication problem from now. So that would be, keep the first fraction as is, 5 over 6, then change the division to multiplication. Afterwards we can reciprocate the second fraction, which will give us 3 over 2. Now let's focus on the first bracket. If you look closely, in the first bracket we are subtracting. Remember now that when we're subtracting, we need to find a common denominator. The common denominator of 4 and 8 is 8 itself. Then let's divide. 4 into 8, that goes 2 times. 7 times 2, that's 14. Minus, then 8 into itself, that goes 1 time. So we'll multiply 1 times 1, which gives us back 1. Then we put back our plus right there. Now for the second parentheses, we are multiplying. So remember now, when we're multiplying, we can choose to multiply the numerators afterwards and multiply the denominators, or we can look to cancel numerator and denominator. In this case, we're going to cancel first. We can cancel on the diagonal. So we can say 3 into itself goes 1 time, and then 3 into 6 goes 2 times. So we can stop right there and just multiply now. So let's multiply the numerator. It says 5 times 1, which will give us 5, and then 2 times 2, which will give us 4. So let's simplify now. So this will be 13 over 8 plus 5 over 4. Now the problem is just down to addition problem. Remember guys, when we're adding, we need to find a common denominator. And the common denominator of 4 and 8 is 8 itself. So let's divide 8 into itself. That goes 1 time. So that's 13 times 1, which is 13. Then we put back our plus. Then we say 4 into 8, that goes 2 times. So that's 5 times 2, which is 10. Now we're going to add 13 plus 10. Now 13 plus 10, that will give us 23. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 8. We can leave our answer as this, or we can opt to leave our answer as a mixed number. So let's do that. So 8 into 23 rather, that goes 3 times, and that leaves us with a remainder of 7. And then we put back our denominator, which is 8. Alright, so it's perfectly fine to leave your answer in whichever format, either as a mixed number or as an improper fraction. Let's try another one. For this one, what I'm recommending first is for you to rewrite the problem. Alright, so if you notice in the numerator we have an operation, so we're going to put that in parentheses. Alright, such that we preserve the numerator as 1. So it's 3.5 times 1 2/3 in parentheses, and then we divide that now by 4 and 1 over 5. Up next, we're going to convert all the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that. So it's 3 times 2, which is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's 7 over 2 times. Let's do the same right here. So 3 times 1, 3 plus 2, that will give us 5. So that's 5 over 3. Let's keep that in parentheses. Then we're going to divide. Let's convert. So it's 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 1, which is 21. That is 21 over 5. So let's simplify what's in the parentheses. In the parentheses, we have a multiplication problem. As you can see, there's nothing there that we can reduce. So since we can't reduce, we're going to multiply the numerators first, which will be 7 times 5, which is 35, and then multiply the denominators. 3 times 2, that will give us 6, and then we put back division, and then 21 over 5. Now the problem is down to division. Remember now, when we're dividing, we write by the first fraction as is. Afterwards, we change the division to multiplication, then we reciprocate. That will be 5 over 21. Let's look to reduce. Now, if you look at the diagonal, you'll notice that we have 35 and 21. And a common factor there is 7. So we can divide by 7. So let's divide by 7. 7 into 35, that goes 5 times. And 7 into 21, that goes 3. There's nothing else we can cancel here. Remember, we can't cancel numerator with numerator. For example, we can't cancel the 5 with the 5, nor can we cancel the 6 with the 3. So what we're left with here is just to multiply. So let's multiply 5 times 5. That will give us 25. And then let's multiply again. 6 times 3. That will give us 18. So the answer right here is 25 over 18. Or we can convert it as a mixed number. So 18 into 25, that goes 1 time. And that will leave us with a remainder of 7. And then we put back our denominator, which is 18. Good girl, guys. You are doing a wonderful job. Let's move on to another one. Right here, we have division and addition. What I recommend you doing first is to convert these to, all these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that. So the first one is 2 times 5, which is 10, and then 10 plus 1, that's 11. That is 11 over 2 divided by, for the next one is 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. That is 11 over 3. And then lastly, we have 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 4, which is 9. So that will be 9 over 5. Now guys, if you remember BOMDAS or PEMDAS, whichever one that you use, just be consistent. Choose one, stick with it, right? So right here we have division and addition as our operations. Division is always superior to addition, and as such we can choose to put it in bracket, or we can just choose to go ahead and divide first. So let's divide first, guys. Remember now, when we're dividing, we write the first fraction back as is. Afterwards, we change the division to multiplication. Then we reciprocate our second fraction. Flip it. That will be 3/11. All right, and then plus 9/5. So let's simplify what's in the bracket. On the diagonal, as you can see, we can reduce 11. 11 into 11 go 1, and 11 into 11 go 1. We are left with, as numerators, 1 times 3, which is 3, and then as denominators, it is 2 times 1, which is 2. Then we can just add 3/2 plus 9/5. The problem is now down to addition. Remember now that when we are adding, we need to find a common denominator. Now the common denominator of 2 and 5 is 10. Now 2 into 10, that goes 5 times. So we say 3 times 5, which gives us 15, plus then 5 into 10, that goes 2 times. So 9 times 2, that will give us 18. Now we are down to 15 plus 18. Now 15 plus 18 is equal to 33. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 10. We can leave our answer as that, or we may convert our answer to a mixed number, which will be 3 into 33. That goes 3 times, and that will leave us with a remainder of 3. And then we put back our denominator, which is 10. Good going again, guys. Let's move on to another question. And if you're learning that, leave a thumbs up and also subscribe and encourage other person to come over to this channel. Let's move on to the next one. In the next question, we have multiplication and subtraction. Remember, guys, that multiplication is always superior to subtraction, and as such you can rewrite the question by adding a parenthesis. So that would be 4 and 1/5 times a third in bracket, then subtract by 1 and 1/4. Now some persons might not put the parentheses, they might just jump to the multiplication, but it's up to you. But always remember that you always multiply before you subtract. All right, so let's convert all the mixed number now to improper fractions. Let's do that. 5 times 4, that's 20, plus 1, which is 21. So that's 21/5 times a third. Keep it in parentheses. Then we're going to subtract that now from 1 and 1/4. Now let's convert that to an improper fraction. So it's 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5. So that's 5/4. Now we're going to cancel when we're multiplying, right? So we can cancel on the diagonal right there. We can cancel the 21 and the 3 by dividing by 3. Now 3 into 21, that goes 7 times, and 3 into itself goes 1 time. There's nothing else here for we to reduce or cancel, so let's multiply the numerators. 7 times 1, which is 7, then multiply the denominators. 5 times 1, which is 5, and then we're going to subtract that from 5/4. The problem is now down to just subtraction. Remember that when we're subtracting, we need to find a common denominator. Now, the denominators here are 5 and 4. Hence, our common denominator is 20. So let's divide. 5 into 20, that goes 4 times. 7 times 4, that is 28. Now we're going to divide by the 4. 4 into 20, that goes 5 times. So that's 5 times 5, which is 25. Now the difference between 28 and 25 is 3. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 20. For this one, we can't convert it to a mixed number because the answer is a proper fraction, and as such we have to leave it as is. Let's look at another one. In this question we have addition and subtraction. Remember now that addition and subtraction are on the same level, and as such we choose the one that comes first, moving from what? Left to right. In this case addition comes first, hence we're going to add first. So what I'm recommending is for you to put that portion of the question in parentheses. So that would be 1 and 4 over 7 plus 2 over 3 in parentheses minus 1 and 5 over 6. So let's convert. 7 times 1, that's 7, plus 4, that's 11. So it's 11 over 7 plus 2 over 3 in parentheses minus, then we convert right here, 6 times 1, which is 6 plus 5, that is 11. So that's 11 over 6. Given that we're adding in the bracket, we need to find a common denominator. Now the common denominator of 7 and 3 is 21. Now 7 into 21, that goes 3 times. 11 times 3, that's 33. Now 3 into 21, that goes 7 times. So 7 times 2, or 2 times 7 is 14. And then we're going to subtract that from 11 over 6. Now let's simplify what's in the parentheses. That will give us, that's 33 plus 14, that will give us 47. And that will be over 21 minus 11 over 6. Now guys, we're subtracting right here, so we need to find a common denominator. Now the lowest number that 21 and 6 can go into without a remainder is 42. Now 21 into 42, that goes 2 times. So 47 times 2, that will give us 94. And now 6 into 42, that goes 7 times. And 11 times 7, that's 77. Now if we subtract 77 from 94, we will get 17. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 42. As you can see right here, the answer is a proper fraction. Hence, it can't be converted to a mixed number. So we have to leave this one as is. Let's move on to another question. Now, in the next question, we have addition and division. Now, division is always superior to addition, and as such, we are going to divide first. We have 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6. We're going to put this portion in parentheses, given that we are going to divide first. Alright, remember that whenever we are dividing, we write back the first fraction as is. So we're going to write back 1 over 6 as is. Then we're going to change the division to multiplication, then reciprocate. That will be 9 over 2. So let's put that in parentheses, and then when we're finished working that, we're going to add it to 7 over 8. Now in bracket, we can reduce the fractions. We can divide the 6 and the 9 by 3. So 3 into 6 goes 2 times, and 3 into 9 goes 3 times. So we are left with, in the bracket, let's multiply the numerators. 1 times 3, that will give us 3. And then for the denominator, it is 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. Now the problem is now down to a addition problem. We have 7 over 8 plus 3 over 4. Since we're adding, we need to find a common denominator. Now the lowest common denominator of 8 and 4 would be 8 itself. So let's divide 8 into 8. 8 into 8, that goes 1 times. 7 times 1, which is 7. Now 4 into 8, that goes 2 times. So 3 times 2, which is 6. So now we have 7 plus 6, which is 13. And then we write back our denominator, which is 8. Now this fraction 13/8 is an improper fraction, and as such it can be converted to a mixed number. Now 8 into 13, that goes one time, and that will leave us with a remainder of 5, and then we write back our denominator, which is 8. So the answer to this question is either 13/8 or 1 and 5/8. Let's try another question. In this question, we have division and subtraction. Guys, remember now, when we have division and subtraction, we always divide first, because division is always superior to subtraction. So let's do this question quickly. So for the division portion, we're going to put that in parentheses as 1 and 4/7 divided by 2/3 in parentheses. Then we're going to subtract. Then we're going to have 1 and 5/7. What we're going to do now is to convert all the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that. 7 times 1, which is 7, plus 4, that is 11. So that is 11/7. At this point, we can choose to convert the division to multiplication, then reciprocate the second fraction, right? Keep that in parentheses, and then 7 times 1, which is 7, plus 5, that will give us 12/7. Now guys, in bracket we are multiplying, and when we're multiplying, we look to reduce. Right here, I don't see anything that we can reduce, so we can multiply the numerators first. So 11 times 3, that's 33. Then 7 times 2, that is 14. Then we're going to subtract that from 12/7. Now the problem is down to a subtraction problem. Remember now that when we're subtracting, we need to find a common denominator. Now we need to find the LCM of 14 and 7. Now the LCM of 14 and 7 is 14 itself. Let's divide 14 into 14. That goes one time, so that's 33 times 1, which is 33. Then 7 into 14, that goes 2 times. 12 times 2, that is 24. Now the difference between 33 and 24 is 9, and then we write back our denominator, which is 14. The answer to this question is a proper fraction, and as such we have to leave our answer as is. It can't be further reduced. All right, let's move on to another question. Now in this question, I am recommending firstly to rewrite the problem. All right, so put the numerator in parentheses, and then we write divide all of that now by 3. That's what the fraction literally means right here. So let's convert all the mixed numbers. So let's do the first one. 4 times 2, that's 8. Then 8 plus 1 is 9, so that's 9/4. Minus, then 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 3, that's 8, so that's 8/5. Then we're going to divide that now by 3. Now, that 3, I'm recommending that you convert that to a fraction by dividing it by 1, or putting it over 1. Why? Because 1 divided by any number, then you will get back the number itself. Now, in parentheses, we are subtracting, and as such, we need to find a common denominator. Now, the lowest common multiple of 4 and 5 is 20. So let's divide 4 into 20. That goes 5 times. So 9 times 5, that gives us 45. Minus, then 5 into 20. That goes 4 times. So 8 times 4, that's 32. Then we are going to divide that by 3/1. So let's simplify this. This is 45 minus 32. That will give us 13 over 20, and then we're going to divide that by 3 over 1. Now guys, for this question, given that we're dividing, we need to write by the first fraction as is. Then we change the division to multiplication. Then we reciprocate. So that's 1 over 3. There's nothing here for us to reduce or cancel. So we multiply the numerators. So that's 13 times 1, which is 13. Then 20 times 3, which is 60. So the final answer to this question is 13 over 25. This one can't be converted to a mixed number because it is a proper fraction. Good going, guys. You are doing a wonderful job. Again, if I'm adding value, kindly leave a like. Remember to subscribe and share with your friends as well. Now let's look at this question. This question, clearly we have a parentheses. So we need to work what's inside the bracket first, and then we're going to divide the answer to that by 4 over 15. Now let's convert all the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So inside the parentheses, we have 4 times 3, which is 12. 12 plus 1, that's 13. So that's 13 over 3. Minus, let's convert right here, 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 2, that's 7 over 5. Then we're going to divide that by 4 over 15. Now, in parentheses, we have subtraction. Now, remember when we're subtracting, we need to find a common denominator. Now, the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. Now 3 into 15, that goes 5 times, and 13 times 5, that is 65, minus, then we're going to divide 5 into 15, that goes 3 times, so 7 times 3, that's 21. Keep it in parentheses. Now we can choose to change the multiplication to the division rather to multiplication and then reciprocate. We can do it at this juncture. That's perfectly fine. So let's subtract there. 65 minus 21, that will give us 44. And then we put that over 15. And then we multiply that now by 15 over 4. Now guys, let's reduce, let's cancel right here. On the diagonals, we can surely cancel. Let's go with the 15s first. So 15 into 15 goes 1. 15 into 15 goes 1. Then we have 4 into itself goes 1 on the next diagonal, that is. And then 4 into 44, that goes 11 times. Now we are left with, as numerators, 11 times 1, which is 11. Then as denominators, we are left with 1 times 1, which is just another question. For this question, I'm recommending that you rewrite the problem first. That's the first thing that I'm recommending, right? So you put all the numerator in brackets. So that's 3 and 3 over 8 minus 2 and a quarter in bracket. Then you divide all of that by 1 and a half. Let's convert all these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So that's 8 times 3, which is 24. 24 plus 3, that's 27 over 8 minus, now 4 times 2, that's 8, plus 1, 9, that's 9 over 4, divided by, let's convert 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1, that's 3 over 2. Now in bracket we are subtracting, so I'm recommending that we go ahead and find our common denominator, right? Now the common denominator of 8 and 4 right here is just 8. So 8 into itself, that goes 1 times. So 21 times 1, that's 27 rather, times 1 is 27, minus, then 4 into 8, that goes 2 times. So 9 times 2, that's 18. And then put that in parentheses still. Right here, you can choose to convert your division to multiplication, then reciprocate 2 over 3. Now guys, 27 minus 18, that will give us 9. So that's 9 over 8. Then we're going to multiply that now by 2 over 3. Now remember that when we're multiplying, we look to reduce numerator and denominators, or we can look to, which is the same thing, which is to look on the diagonal to look if you can reduce. As you can see on the diagonals, we can reduce. So let's divide on the first diagonal by 3. So 3 into itself goes 1, and 3 into 9 goes 3 times. On the next diagonal, we have 2, so we can divide by 2, so 2 into itself goes 1, and then 2 into 8 goes 4. So we are left with 3 times 1, which is 3, and then 4 times 1, which is 4. So the final answer to this question is 3 over 4. Let's move on to our last question. Now, in the last question, we have addition and subtraction. Remember that subtraction and addition are on the same level, and as such, none is superior to the other. And to separate them, as in to decide which one to do first, we simply move from left to right. So in this case, subtraction comes first, moving from left to right. Hence, we're going to subtract first. So let's put that in parentheses to indicate that we're going to do that first. Alright, after you have done that, convert all the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Let's do the first one. 5 times 2, that's 10. 10 plus 2, that's 12. That's 12 over 5 minus, then 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 1, that's 4. So that's 4 over 3. Then we add, then convert right here. 3 times 2, 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, 7. That's 7 over 2. In the bracket, we have subtraction, which simply means that we need to find a common denominator. Now, the lowest common multiple of 5 and 3 is 15. After we found that, we're going to divide 5 into 15. That goes 3 times. So 12 times 3, that's 36. Now, 3 into 15, that goes 5 times. And 4 times 5, that's 20. Keep that in parentheses, then when we're through, we add that to 7 over 2. In bracket, we can simplify. Now, 20 from 36, that would leave us with 16. And then we put back our denominator, which is 15. Then when we're through, we add that to 7 over 2. Now, guys, let's add. Remember, when we're adding, we need a common denominator. In this case, our lowest common denominator is 30. So let's divide. Now, 15 into 30, that goes 2 times. All right, so that's 16 times 2, that's 32. Then we see now 2 into 30, that goes 15 times. Now we're going to multiply 7 times 15. 7 times 15, that will give us 105. Now 32 plus 105 will give us 137. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 30. Now 30 into 137, that goes 4 times. And that will leave us with a remainder of 17. And then we put back our common denominator, which is 30. So the final answer to this question can be expressed as 137 over 30, or 4 and 17 over 30. It's up to you to decide where you want, or you want to leave your final answer. Guys, thank you very much for viewing. You have done a wonderful job in following me. If you think that I've moved too quickly, you can pause the video at any time to take off the notes and double check. Don't be afraid to review the video, watch it over, share it with other persons, invite them over to this channel, the most exciting math channel on YouTube with the best possible content. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and please come back again as more content is to be released. Thank you very much, guys, and have a fabulous day.